Welcome to Vision Pros, the show all about spatial computing, visionOS, and getting work done on the Apple Vision Pro. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show.
I mean, I'll make this app more like a socialized app, like a social media app. So in the future, you have a probably as a game lobby tab on the main page. Then you can browse all the opened game lobbies, and you can just join them. And you can, I mean, they'll be listed as different games, different languages, and then you can join whatever you want. So you'll be playing with the host side by side using your personas.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Vision Pros, and happy 2025. For this first episode of the new year, I'm thrilled to be joined by Kevin, the developer behind the amazing Portal app that brings your PlayStation 4 and 5 into the Apple Vision Pro. If you happen to get a brand new PS5 for Christmas, well, this is the app for you. This app literally brings your PlayStation 5 into the Apple Vision Pro, and it does it in a really fantastic way. And the thing that will strike you about this app is the quality of the experience playing the PlayStation through this app. Everything is really thoughtfully implemented and enables some features that even Sony themselves have not yet done with their own app on the iPad and iPhone. So I'm thrilled to be joined by Kevin to dive into this phenomenal app for the Apple Vision Pro. And if you have not yet tried Portal but own a PlayStation 5 or 4, give this app a shot. It is really phenomenal, and he's done an amazing thing here, letting you play the PlayStation in your headset. The app is free to download and try and has a monthly subscription if you'd like to unlock all of the more high-end features within Portal. As a reminder, you can support this podcast by heading over to visionpros.fm/Patreon. And by subscribing to either the Patreon or an Apple Podcast, you'll get episodes early of both iPad Pros and this podcast, Vision Pros. My great thanks to everyone that supports the show. Another way to support this podcast is by leaving a review in Apple Podcasts. Every review goes a long way in helping others discover this show. With that, here's my interview with Kevin. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast, Kevin. Can you first share a bit on your background, like how'd you get into development work and what background do you have with the various headsets as well?
Yeah, thank you for inviting, Tim. So I'm a programmer, software engineer from. Previously, I was working at Snap as a in the world tracking team. Previous to that, I was working at another AI company in London. Last year, when Apple announced the Vision Pro, I was really excited, and I decided to quit my job basically. So I think in June I had an idea of doing a spatial social media app, and I spent like 2 months making a MVP, and I started looking for investments. I reached out to like 300 investors and angels, and they refused me. I got a chance to talk to a dozen of them, and they just complained that it's too early and the market was too small. So I just thought, screw that. I'll just quit my job and do it on my own without any funding.
Yeah.
So in June this year, I got my first app, OverSoul, launched an app store, which was not quite successful. It has some traffic, but not as much as Portal app. Yeah, so I don't have any headsets before, but when I was doing my master's, I had a chance to do my project on the very first Oculus Quest developer kit.
Yeah.
Which was cool, but it was like the maximum resolution was like 1080p. It's really, really low res, but it was like mind blowing at that time.
It was, yeah. So when did you actually get your headset? Did you wait until the United Kingdom launch, or did you import one from the States?
I bought until the United Kingdom launch, but before that, I joined the Apple Vision Developer Lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got like all the tools I have, like mostly it's just in simulator because a spatial social media app doesn't really require that kind of interaction with hand gestures and stuff like that. So I got a chance to do to run this app on a real device before launching it. in the Vision app. Yeah.
Nice. And then for you, what have been your favorite apps and experiences in Apple Vision Pro so far?
I actually haven't downloaded so many apps on Vision Pro. I only tried all the official, recommended apps like
Yeah.
Apple TV, stuff like that. I think the most favorite experience will be definitely the immersive videos from Apple TV.
Yeah.
Well, most other apps are just they can do that in like Quest. I don't see a reason why they put them into Vision Pro.
Sure.
It's just identical. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So in short, I don't really have any other experiences.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a developer, what improvements were you happiest with in visionOS 2 to see brought to the platform?
Yeah, I would say definitely it's the more flexible window management. Like you can push your window. Well, in the Portal app, we when you click on a card of your console, a new stream window will be pushed into your thing, and the original the main page will be pushed back into the thing. That's a new feature from the visionOS 2. And also you can have a window layered in the in a particular location, like a utility location, which is like pretty close to you, and it's just more flexible for developers to make multi window experiences. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And as we'll talk about in Portal, I think having a second window is very helpful to have your settings and things as you're streaming the game in a different window. Yeah.
I actually thought about like having a second window, but I think not every user is that tech savvy, as you can see from the Reddit. I want to make this experience as linear, as simple as possible.
Yeah. No, makes sense. For sure does.
Yeah.
Anything else about visionOS or the Apple Vision Pro you want to discuss before we dive into your app?
Yeah, I really hope that they can release the Vision Air next year because the user base is so small right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Like, yeah, it's not a ton of people. The people that are there, I think are like, I know for me, at least as Portal, like once a month I would search for PlayStation to see what else pops up. It's like, did Sony enable remote play somehow? Because I'm not sure if you're like me, but like I have a PS5 and the first thing I did when I bought it back in whatever February, it's like, let's get remote play work on this thing, and just like nothing great was working on it. Then Portal's out. Oh, whoa, what is this? And so I first had to ask, like, are you a PlayStation player? Is this is an app you created partially because like you have a headset and you felt like you wanted to do this as well, right?
Yes, I am a PlayStation player. But I'm not really like I don't really play every day. I play occasionally. But like my last really chunk of time that I put into the PlayStation was like back in August of this year. I don't like play. I don't like others like playing 1 or 2 hours every day. Most of the time right now I'm just writing codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like this app is something like I want to do. This is like it's in two reasons. One reason is my first app doesn't really succeed, because the DAU is so low. Secondly, it was like an idea when I had the Vision Pro in this summer, because in the UK we don't really have air conditioners in the house, so I wore my Vision Pro in the garden, and I don't know what to do actually. So I thought I wanted to play some games, but I did some lookup in the App Store, and there's no such native app. I know Mirror Play, but it's not native. So I had that idea that maybe I will do this app in one day, but I was so busy with my primary app OverSoul, so I didn't really have the time at that time. Yeah.
And I love the name Portal. I bought my Portal last year, and it's such a perfect name. It's not it signifies remote play, and Do you have a portal as well, or is this just like a nice name to piggyback off of a little bit?
Yeah, I don't have a portal because I've heard that it's not really good, uh, the quality wise. Yeah,
Yeah.
so actually this game was given by ChatGPT. Initially it's called the it has like a few suggestions like play Portal, play Link, play Fusion, stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I decided to call it Play Portal. But when I tried to launch it in App Store, the Play Portal has already been taken. So I just changed it to Portal Remote Play.
Yeah.
That
No,
that's
it's a
like
great name. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's basically the story.
Okay. Yeah. And as far as PlayStation itself, how far back do you go with the brand? PS4, PS3. Like when was your first PlayStation?
My first PlayStation is was bought in 2013 when I just graduated from uni and got my first job.
Hmm.
Technically, I'm not a long-term fan. I just ever since that I play the PlayStation occasionally.
Yeah.
I was a big PC gamer back then
Hmm.
when I was in uni, and yeah,
Nice. Yeah. So that would have been probably PS4. That was right around that launch. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, PS4, yeah.
So, as far as bringing this to Vision Pro, how much of a challenge was it to create your own client? Like, how much of this is documented and Sony approved, and how much of it is, undocumented to get this working?
Yeah, first of all, I before I creating this app, I did some marketing research, and I'm pretty sure that Sony allows this kind of third party app to streaming their service because it's probably a win-win solution for them
Hmm.
because they don't really need a team to develop this kind of app, and
Yeah.
also
And there is a
this.
pairing code, which you don't need if you're using official Sony apps. It's obviously there for
Yeah,
third party apps like this, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. So I think it's a win-win solution for them as well. The users will be using their PlayStation more often. So yeah, and given that information, I started kind of to look into this technical solutions. I would admit this was one of my most challenging projects ever. It took me like 6 to 7 weeks from the first day to do it until the first version was submitted to App Store for
Hmm.
review. It's challenging, but it's not complicated because it's really linear. The experience uh, was simple. The use case was quite simple. It's not like my first app, OverSoul. My first app was like a social media basically. So
Hmm.
it won't it requires a lot of considerations of the backend stuff. But this is just a quite a simple and straightforward app to make.
Yeah, the goal
Um,
is quite clear in mind of what
yeah,
the user wants to
yeah,
do, and yeah,
yeah. But it's
the,
challenging.
yeah. And the thing I'm most impressed with is the stream quality you've managed to achieve in the
Yeah,
headset. Apple Vision Pro doesn't have the best Wi-Fi chips out there. It's probably on par with the Portal, I must say, but much bigger screen you're working with. But it looks really, really good with very little latency. So, like, what was that optimization process like to have good streams in the headset?
so the Vision Pro has a M2 chip, which has a media engine
Hmm.
that includes a hardware accelerated pipeline for encoding and decoding video streams. And I use that video engine to decode the video buffer from remote play. So everything basically happens on hardware almost instantly. Um, yeah. So as a result, the CPU is really, really low. The CPU usage will be around like 25 to 30% when you're running Portal, regardless of the image quality. So basically everything happens on a median engine. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. And then part of what helps with the picture quality is you've implemented an upscaler on the device. So I'm very curious what goes into this. As you know, Sony's released PS5 Pro with PSSR. an AI upscaler. And as we've seen, that can be challenging to get it right, as many games are looking worse on PS5 Pro because it wasn't done right. So how did you get this so good? Because it does look great.
Yeah, so I actually didn't sort of upscaling until I have seen the first video frame of the remote play. It's unbearable for me.
Yeah,
As a hardcore gamer myself, it's unacceptable.
because
It's just,
Sony lets you get 1080p streams, and that's I think what even Portal and other like that's the maximum
yeah,
they're outputting for any of the remote play
yeah.
clients. Yeah,
The thing is, with Vision Pro, you are staring at the screen like 1 inch away. So the 1080p becomes really, really low
and it's
resolution for
big.
any user. Yeah.
Yeah.
As for the technology, the Sony PSSR and Apple Metal, I mean, Metal is their graphics framework.
Hmm.
They both provide a technology for upgrading image quality into something bigger. I believe under the hood they're using the same open source technology. They have their own ways of wrapping that into their ecosystem. Um, so basically, there are two tiers. In Apple, there are two tiers of upscaling. One is with the all the information from a game, including the depth data, the jittering data, and the second one is just using the output quality, output rendering result of the image. So as a streaming client, we don't have access to the game data, so I'm just using the lower end of upscaling. So you see a lot of probably some images falling apart if you are in a fast-paced game.
I
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
yeah.
And are there any advantages to run with the 1440p upscaler versus 4K, or is it purely battery life that?
It's purely battery life, and also if you're streaming from 720p, it's better to just have a 1440p
Makes sense?
because that's kind of like doubled in. I mean, yeah, it reduces artifacts. If you're just upscaling from 720p to 4K, then you see a lot of artifacts and blurry stuff. It's just there for user to choose.
Gotcha. Okay. And what settings do you use most of the time? Because I've personally found that sometimes 30 frames per second can improve things greatly during congested internet times, and that's a fairly good experience depending on the game. Yeah.
I would say for the bad network conditions, I will switch to 720p and still have the 30 FPS
Hmm.
opened. Because I think frame rate matters more than the image quality. And you can
For
still
sure. Yeah. It
yeah,
can in many
and
games. Yeah.
and you can still upgrade into like 1440p
Yeah.
in real time. Yeah.
And we've talked about, or you've talked on the Discord about the possibility of using AI to bump up the frame rate even from 60 to 90. And would 30 to 45 be a possible jump as well? Because I've noticed 45 being a major improvement up from 30 in many games.
Yeah, that's possible. But I'm still looking to ways to do it. It's not really urgent at my end.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'll just evaluate this technology and see if it can fit into Portal.
Yeah. So something I really appreciate is that you can actually be listening to a podcast or even watching a movie while using Portal. And in visionOS, at least for movies and audio, it seems to be one thing at a time is the general rule. So how'd you manage to get that working?
First of all, I didn't know that you cannot watch two videos at the same time in visionOS.
Yeah,
Because I don't really use that visionOS. I mean, I really don't use my Vision Pro that much often.
sure. Yeah.
Uh, so basically, in a nutshell, you're not watching a video from Portal. You're just viewing a stream of images, basically. Um, it's a buffer of images, and it's fed into the streaming window. Yeah. So technically speaking, it's not a so-called AV player
Hmm.
from Apple.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, you get yeah, it's a really cool ability because
Yeah.
in most, I need to try more games, but I think most games would even pause. Like it's really cool how this actually gets around it with the way you're doing it. For the audio, do you know if you get a stereo signal out of the stream, or is it the full 3D audio you'd get when playing locally on the PS5?
I think the remote play the remote play protocol can only output stereo audio. But the Vision Pro has like a really powerful audio engine, and I managed to kind of mimic the spatial audio mode, but not it's not perfect. I'm still working on that. As you can see, it's a beta version on that spatial audio thing.
Yeah, because currently there's the spatial mode, as you mentioned, in beta, and then there's the mix mode where you're mixing audio with your other apps if you're, say, watching a movie at the same time. And then there's the you can like reduce the volume of the other apps as you're using the portal.
That's the that's the output behavior of the audio. You can tag others, and you can mix with others.
Yeah.
I think for most concentrated games, you would probably want to just reduce other volumes. But if you want like watch another movie, or then can just mix with others.
Yeah, like for most time, that's right. If I'm just getting like my marathon in and Gran Turismo, that's where I'll change it to mix with others, so I can like kind of be doing both at the same time, which not something I do all the time, but it's nice when it's there. Are there any other changes to how you'd like to handle audio in the future outside of just improving that spatial component?
Yeah, of course. I will be adding like audio input, aka game chat, into future. Yeah.
That'll be super neat. I think, yeah, and that's something supported over remote play, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I think other clients I have seen that before. Yeah. And you'll be able to tap into, I guess, the AirPods or the Apple Vision Pro microphones versus using the DualSense microphone for that.
No, you cannot use the DualSense microphone because it's just not there.
Okay.
You'll be using the Vision Pro or the your AirPods. Yeah.
Okay. And as far as the DualSense, what was involved with getting all of those features working over remote play? Like, so if you use Sony's remote play app on your iPad or iPhone, the only way you get haptics is if you plug the controller over USB-C. If you're using Bluetooth, it's just they're not there. So you got the haptics running, and it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, thanks. So basically, the DualSense has like four unique features. One is the touchpad, and the other is the gyro and accelerometer, and then the other is the adaptive triggers, and then lastly is the haptic feedback. For the first three, it's quite straightforward because Apple has provided APIs for that. You just need to kind of decode and the signal that you got from remote play, and then use the Apple's way to control the controller. For the haptic feedback, it's little bit tricky because originally the haptic feedback was an audio signal that sent directly to your DualSense controller. That's why many other apps have to let you connect your DualSense into your computer directly, because that's how it can be detected as a speaker as well. But if a speaker, sorry, if a DualSense is connected into your device, whatever device it is, then it will be recognized as a controller, and there's no chance for it to be recognized as a speaker as well. So in this case, I have to find a way to simulate this rumble effects. So I use the Apple's Core Haptic framework to do that, which is the same thing, the same vibration you got on your phone, on your other Apple devices. But I did a special treatment to the audio signal from the remote play and make it as close as possible to originally it is. Yeah.
Nice. What were your kind of go-to games in testing the haptics features to see how close you're able to get them?
I had a few to test. One is a recent game. I'm a PlayStation Plus member, so
Hmm.
I got free games. So one is the most recent one is Hot Wheels 2.
Hmm.
It has a lot of rumble effects to test, and other occasionally games on my main screen. Yeah. The other one is Wild Hearts, which was
Yeah.
a previously free game that I played a lot of time into. I spent like 250 hours into it. Uh,
So you're very
uh,
familiar with how it felt there. So it's like, well, let me see if I can match that up. Yeah.
yeah, it's basically Monster Hunter, but it's just cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
I used the hammer to test because hammer rumbles a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah, yeah, that's it basically.
Nice. Yeah. And am I right that the controller speaker data is not transmitted in a remote play session and you're not able to even address the controller speaker in your app if you wanted to?
Yes, that's correct. The remote play session doesn't really handle speaker data. It's just combines all the data into one data stream.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the DualSense LED,
Mhm.
mine always seems to be red when I'm connected to the Vision Pro. Is that just a Vision OS thing that tells it what color to be, or do you have the ability to address that as well?
You can create multiple profiles in your system settings. If you go to
Okay.
system settings, general, and game controller, you can apply multiple. You can create as many profiles as you want, and you can attach that profile into a particular game
Okay.
and particular app.
App. Yeah.
So, including buttons remapping, including light bar color.
Hmm.
But overall, I don't think changing light bar color uh, is a practical way to use in Vision Pro because most of the time you just have your fully immersive environment on, and you don't even see your controller actually.
Totally.
Yeah,
The red always throws me off. It's like, is my battery low? 'Cause it's like it's always red. It's so yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I just go in there and change it to green or something. That's less scary. Yeah. Uh, is there any way for you to turn off the DualSense when you disconnect from a remote play, or is that more of a system wide thing? Because currently, to turn off my DualSense, I basically have to open settings and disconnect it every time, right?
I don't believe I can because it's more a system-wide thing. I don't as an app I don't have that kind of access to
Okay.
it. The only thing I can get is the battery power. Sorry, the battery, how much battery is remaining. And also you can turn off your controller by long pressing the PS button.
Oh, that's
Probably
good to
like
know.
10 seconds or 5 seconds. I don't remember, but just long press it and
Uh,
it will be turned off.
yeah, that's cool to know. Have you considered a place in your app that would just show the battery life of the currently connected controller?
Yes, that's one of the plans that I'll be releasing next update.
Nice. Yeah, because I, I never know. It's like, is this thing low or not? 'Cause like
Yeah.
it's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the DualSense is notoriously terrible with battery life.
yeah.
And then one thing I've run into occasionally is with the eye track on Vision Pro. I'll accidentally be looking at the PlayStation button in Portal, and I'll hit like the cross button on the DualSense to trigger the eye tracking. Have you considered a way to address that? Maybe in a secondary window, there's a setting to toggle the PlayStation button being active or not. That's where we've talked about earlier, where simplicity and all that can be a problem of doing things like that.
I think I can definitely increasing the gap between the ornaments into the window, so
Hmm.
it's not that easy to be looked at. And the other thing is the user habits. I think as a physical gamer into the Vision virtual worlds, we need to adapt into this system design. Of
Yeah, I mean, the more I use it, the less it
yeah,
happens to me. So it's
yeah.
certainly a learning curve for sure. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, placement, a little bit of a gap because, yeah, sometimes I'll bring the window a little further down and it happens less, and then you're currently at work. It's in beta now of enabling remote play while away from your local network. And this always blows my mind when I use it in other clients in my PS Portal hardware device. Is my PlayStation's hundreds of miles away, and it's miraculously streaming to me. And just it's amazing this technology even works in the first place. So, how difficult has this been to get up and running for you?
I would say the beta version is already ready. I'm just testing it out recently. So basically, for the true remote play, there are mainly two methods. One is for port forwarding, which requires a lot of manual input, which I don't really opt into as it's not aligned well with my strategy of making this app as simple as possible. The second way is to use UPnP, which is hole punching. Basically, what you need to do is just to go to your router and make sure that feature is on. And then in the PlayStation, sorry, in the Portal app, you just need to log into your PlayStation details, and then it will be looking into your PlayStation account and try to connect with your actual device as it is like in the official app.
Nice. Yeah. I need to test this. As far as immersive modes, what are you considering adding to the app as far as that in the future? Like, are you looking at building out your own environments or trying to tap into Apple's environments using... I know there's an API in Safari that enables you to use those environments in any video, but this isn't a video, so I'm not sure if that's even possible.
So as for environments, if your app is on the window, then you can use the system's environments like blah, blah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you are in an immersive space, then you have to use your own environments, which I have planned it in the early days. But those environments will be like your man cave or some retrospective game room. Those environments will be sold separately as a game skin. But for of course our hardcore gamers will have free access to probably to 102 environments for every month. That's what I plan. But I need to. It's too early for this now. I want to cover other platforms before I move into that field.
For sure, it's a lot of. I'd imagine a lot of work to get those right because they have to be high resolution enough, and it'd be fun to be like let me play at the show floor of E3 2014 or something, like to try to do like old E3 environments and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of avenues you could go down for different fun environments that would be fun to play with. Yeah. For remote play, is ultra wide something that's even supported by that, or I haven't tried PS5 itself hooked up to ultra wide. Is that something supported? Is that something you've looked into adding for your app?
I don't think that's supported in the remote play protocol because they won't be compatible with their PlayStation Portal as well. And that's 16 by 9, so it's probably not possible. But if it does support, it will be super easy to implement in our Portal app because you just need to, have a new window size.
Sure. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this one, but I thought I'd ask you anyway. So there's been rumors that Apple may add Sense controller support, the PSVR 2 controller support to Apple Vision Pro. If that happens, is there a world where you could figure out how to remote play a PlayStation VR 2 game into Portal, or does the remote play spec kind of only work for flat games at this time?
I'm not quite sure. I feel like that would be a gray area because that would be touching their cakes. Because Sony want to sell their PlayStation VR headsets, and if we're playing using a real play session, then it probably won't be a good thing to do.
Right. Yeah. And I'd imagine VR games would be the most challenging of things to even get right because the latency
Yeah.
has to be just nothing to
Yeah.
avoid motion sickness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the other features you're excited to build out that we haven't talked about yet for Portal?
I'm going to build a virtual couch co-op mode for that. So basically, you can have your game open, and you can invite your friends, either you know them or you can invite them from within the app. But I will be doing I'll make this app more like a socialized app, like a social media app. So in the future, you have a probably as a game lobby tab on the main page. Then you can
Mhm.
browse all the opened game lobbies, and you can just join them. And you can, they'll be listed as different games, different languages, and
Mhm.
then you can join whatever you want. So you'll be playing with the host side by side using your personas.
That's super. So it sounds like you don't even need to be friends with them. It's kind of like you can set up this either private or public lobby, and you can
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you can
That's
totally. Yeah,
cool.
you can set a private lobby with a password, or it can be public as well.
And then you'll have your persona to actually that's wild. I'm excited for you
Yeah,
to get there because yeah, I don't use my persona that often, and this would be a cool
yeah,
way to start using that and meet some cool people.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah, that makes me very excited. Okay, cool. How hard do you think it'll be to add a Steam Link and Xbox support? I personally, as a PlayStation player, hope the app's kind of like as feature complete as you want to be at that point before you start working that stuff because there's, as we talked about, many other things to build out.
Yeah, I think for each I'll be taking like 1 to 2 weeks to implement.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 1 month, but it shouldn't take me that long.
Okay.
Steam Link, as far as I know, Valve has a official library for that, which is pretty straightforward. Xbox, I haven't really looked into that, but I think there are similar libraries, open source as well. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of integrating and testing. Because currently my pipeline has been designed to support other streaming sessions as well, so it'll
Okay.
be pretty easy to integrate. Yeah.
Nice. And then with Xbox, do you think it would be Xbox One and later, or is it only the series consoles? Is it do you even know if it's a different technology or the same kind of spec?
I'm not a Xbox player, so I have no idea what that
Yeah,
is.
I'm not sure either. I have an Xbox One that's in its box from when I got it back in the PS4 era, and it's gotten very dusty out of the era. So I might dust it off to see if it still works for a couple games. And then Sony's now streaming games directly from the cloud to either the Portal device that they sell or a PlayStation 5 if you have the premium subscription. Am I right that that is something you would not be able to tap into as it's kind of behind private servers?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Because again, this is their private server, and if I doing this, will be issues.
Yeah.
And also, and also, if everyone is playing their PlayStation from Vision Pro and remotely, and then there will be no one buying their PlayStations. So
Right.
that's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. For Xbox and NVIDIA GeForce Now, cloud streaming, do those have ways that you would want to integrate more directly in the portal, or is streaming from hardware in your own house kind of what you're aiming at?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'll need to investigate.
Okay. And then, what are some of your favorite games to play in Portal? Where do you feel the 4K upscaler works best, and kind of all of that good stuff?
I actually didn't play that much, as you can imagine.
Because you're
I only
busy building
played.
the app, which yeah, yeah.
I mean, from my backend, there's a user that was crazy. Like I have seen a user play like 4 hours straight. That is crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
totally anonymous, just for
Right.
diagnosis data. That's crazy. But for me, I
Hmm.
only play like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
20 minutes. That's the maximum I can do. Because this thing is too heavy. It's just too heavy and uncomfortable. Um,
Sure.
for me, I have played a few nights before the app goes to App Store, just for the testing the stability of this app and the power consumption. Uh, I played poker actually.
Oh, nice.
I played poker and scrolling my Twitter X,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I also had some fun doing the racing the game Hot Wheels,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Nice. Yeah, racing works so well there.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend to try to get the $50 Belkin top head strap that works with the Vision Pro. It really makes a huge difference as far as how heavy that thing feels on your head.
Yeah, I had this third party. I don't know what that is. Anna Pro probably.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like 30 bucks. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
It's still not perfect. It's still so heavy.
It is very, very heavy. Yeah. I saw a ergonomics company that does sleep studies and stuff just released their head strap for $120 coming out next year. So I'm curious what kind of solutions people come up with and how light people can make it try to feel, because it's a heavy headset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Portal is totally free to download and use, and I think you actually have a pretty great experience with the features included. It's the 30 frames per second at 1080p, which for many people is all right. But if you do want to go further, for $6 a month is the current upgrade to unlock 4K 60 HDR. What other features are at the tier, and what else are you looking to add to that tier?
So currently we have 4K 60 and then HDR, and also for support for the DualSense controller.
Mm-hmm.
And different sound modes. And also I'm adding the remote play mode pretty soon. And also there will be an audio input and the immersive curved screen. This will be introduced hopefully this month, but probably next year.
Okay.
And also, as I talked about, will be virtual cultural co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I can think of for now.
Mm-hmm.
My initial aim is just to make everyone can have a reason to pick up their Vision Pro and play their games in it. So it is designed for free and forever. If you want have a enhanced experience, then there's a paid tier for that.
Very cool. Yeah, it is an app that I've wanted since I got the Vision Pro, because I use it at night when my 2-year daughter is kind of sleeping on my chest or lap at night, and before now it's been movies every night because but now I'm using my PlayStation a lot more thanks to this app. So it's a godsend that it's here. Yes. And HDR supports something I didn't even remember, and it's something that's pretty big because the screens on Vision Pro are so good, and there's many games like Horizon and Returnal. Like there's many games that do pop because of that ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything about Portal that we didn't touch on that you'd like to before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's all. Yeah. No.
Okay. And then you mentioned earlier your first app, OverSoul. Well, we don't have time to go in depth in this episode with that app. What would you like to share about OverSoul?
So it's a spatial social media sharing app. You can share 3D photos. Actually, the first time I built this app is I have a 3D conversion AI in the backend. So basically, you can convert any 2D images into 3D. But since the visionOS 2, Apple has introduced a local way to do it.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks now.
Yeah.
And also I have this app can share 3D models and also immersive spaces, including 3D Gaussian splatting, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically it's a new way to share content.
Nice. What have been some of your favorite things you've seen shared so far at OverSoul?
It would be definitely immersive spaces.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy he was in a mountain and then he took a 360 video and then it converts into a immersive space, which is quite cool actually.
Very cool. Yeah, I have it downloaded, so I need. I'm kind of going through and seeing what's in there. So where can people follow you online and learn more about your apps?
I don't do social media that much because I try to advertising my OverSoul when it gets launched, but my Reddit account gets blocked, gets banned.
Ah,
So I was quite cautious about those things. I
yeah.
only have a official YouTube channel called OverSoul, so you can just follow that. But I don't really post that much videos on it.
Okay. Yeah, and I'd say definitely join the Discord channel. I'll try to link it to that in the notes for this episode. And I'm very impressed with how quickly you're able to iterate on this app. It seems like there's always a nice big update coming out, and yeah, your development prowess, your skills seem very, very good. So it's been great to see them directed towards Portal.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate your time today. Well, as my interview with Kevin all about the Portal. My thanks again to Kevin for his time recording. My thanks to you for your time and attention tuning in. Make sure to download and try Portal if you are a PlayStation player and soon an Xbox or Steam player. As a reminder, you can support this podcast over at visionpros.fm/Patreon. With that, I'll talk with everyone again real soon.